How's it going, guys? Welcome to this week's YouTube video. I am sharing a session that I'm doing for myself, which is preparing my body for the sport that I love, which is surfing. I'm heading away on a surf trip next month to Indonesia. It's also training typically weak areas, both for myself, but just in general. Okay, so there will be drills in here that will be beneficial for yourself to give a go. And what I suggest is maybe pick just one or two and incorporate them into your sessions. And yeah, let's get into it. So this first exercise is really working back extension. Okay, how often are we really working our spinal erectors? And I'd say this is a typically weak position for most. A lot of times we are sat kind of with a rounded back, especially your upper back. We're kind of looking at computer screens, sitting behind steering wheels, watching TV, etc. And when these get weak, it kind of throws off our whole posture. And that's why I'm doing these. Okay, so I'm holding my legs, as you can see, use my glutes, hamstrings to kind of lift my heels up, trying to go up into an upper back extension here. I have a bit of a natural roundness in my upper back, and I really need to train the muscles there so I can actually draw my upper back to be straighter, to be have a better posture. There's nothing wrong with natural roundness, but that is I suppose made worse by modern living. Okay, so I really want to counteract that. It's on one half of my family. We see it. With the weights, they're kind of light weights, and this is kind of with surfing in mind. This is where I feel it. All these muscles that I feel afterwards, that's what I feel after a surf, because that's where I'm typically weak. Okay, and if you notice, the back of the palm faces the lower back, so I'm working internal rotation. I'm working rotation of the shoulder joint. For any ball and socket joint, it's really important. Even neck, which we'll get into a little bit more. So yeah, I did 4 rounds of this. I think I was doing about 12 each side, and absolute killer. I often find some of the toughest exercises I do have the lightest weights. All right, I almost prefer bench pressing heavy than this kind of stuff, because I suppose I'm more used to that and my muscles are stronger there. So a really good skill and discipline is finding out where you're weak and really working on your weak areas. Okay, throughout this, I'm breathing consistently also. I'm trying not to hold my breath. Holding an isometric hold there, really important. This could be looked at as end range strength training. I'm in that end range of spinal extension. From there, did 4 rounds of that. Went into some nice controlled pull-ups and rows, and just a bit of a gymnastics rings flow. I'm a little bit out of practice with the gymnastics rings, only kind of getting back on them this year. And actually, after this surf trip, I'm going to devote 6 months to getting better at them. But yeah, I love this exercise. Always like this row. And I go into some skin the cats, which is working shoulder mobility. My range of motion could definitely improve there. It was improved, so I'm gradually moving into greater and greater range of motion, trying to go with control, holding a few isometrics. And I did 3 to 4 rounds of this. I did another pull-up variation, but yeah, just 3 to 4 rounds, working the lats, working the arms, biceps, and yeah, holding with another L-sit at the end. It wasn't this one. Getting a few one-armed hangs as well. So yeah, just love training on the rings. This fella here is an interesting one. It's a dive bomber push-up. I do like a well-named exercise. But if you look at it, I'm getting a bit of extension into the back as well, which is a bit of a theme from the first exercise. Okay, I'm looking to work in control. Nothing wrong with push-ups, but I'm kind of imitating a few things that happens with surfing, duck diving, for example. And I just like this exercise. We're getting the shoulders nice and deep in extension, getting a nice lengthening of the pec muscles. It's a full body coordination as well. It takes a bit of effort. I'm definitely not doing it perfectly, but it's a nice one at this position there to work the spinal erectors as well. So we'll get to a point where the quality goes down because I'm too fatigued. So what I do is just make an adjustment and just do AMRAP, as many reps as possible, with your regular deep parallel push-ups. So if you look at the shoulders there, see how far I can get my elbows up. Don't force this range of motion. Go into a range of motion that you feel safe in. But I definitely suggest training your shoulders, all joints really, through a full range of motion. Not all the time though. I would do like mid-range dumbbell bench press. We shouldn't ignore the mid-range, but we definitely, for health, need to move our shoulders, our joints in a full range of motion. This one is a combination. So I did 3 to 4 sets of I did two sets of the other one and 2 sets of this. But look at the combination here. I'm getting a nice deep press, mountain climber, a controlled mountain climber, and then a jump through. Okay, so I'm working the core. Exhale as I bring my knees towards my elbows, make room, and I'm probably looking a bit down there. I should look more forward. The socks on the wooden floor work well. Also, I can get a bit of a slide there if you notice, working the core throughout. And this is tough, okay? Especially as you get towards the end of the reps, we'll be out of breath. And it also takes a good bit of focus. I'm really focusing on quality. A pet hate of mine is seeing people like do mountain climbers with really poor form. I'm trying to keep my back kind of straight. Exhale as I bring my knee up towards my chest and move nice and slow and really work those anti-extension core muscles, which I'll explain in this exercise. So look what I'm doing with pelvis. That's anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt. Naturally, or I suppose maybe unnaturally, because I'm sitting at a desk all the time, I have a bit of an anterior pelvic tilt, which is fine, but we need to be able to move our pelvis through it. That's anterior and that's posterior. Also, with the core work, that's what this is about. I'm working my muscles in that posterior range, all right? Posterior pelvic tilt range, and I want that. I want to be strong there. When you think about it, the rib cage and pelvis are in a kind of an alignment there, and they're held together by the abs. So I'm working quite hard here. And also fully inhaling and fully exhaling, which obviously you can't pick up here, which is quite important. So I did a few rounds of that. And then finally, I've gotten a bit of whiplash surfing when you wipe out and fall on your back and your head whiplashes back. And typically, people don't train their neck, right? It's so important. I might not necessarily go into this one. This is quite a tough one, but I'm holding this isometrically. I can put my hands close to the ground there, so to be safe. And even I can put my fingers on the ground, my hands on the ground to take some of the pressure off. I have an easier one that I would have started with, but yeah, think about your sport. Do you use your neck muscles in your sport? Do you need a strong neck for your sport? And if so, are you training it? Like, we really need to protect it. So I'm getting these in, or isometrics from my neck in, probably, I'm doing it like twice a week in preparation for this surf trip. Doing some stretching, some movements as well, but really important, just some light stretching here to finish off. And that was essentially the session. So I'm preparing my body for the sport whilst looking at typically weak areas. Oh yes, I forgot about this guy. Look at my lower back here. Remember I was saying about posterior pelvic tilt? It never goes into this anterior position, okay? Exhaling as I bring my knees towards my elbows. I could have gone a bit lower on one or two of them, but really nice anti-extension exercise. There's nothing wrong with lumbar extension, but part of the function of our core is to prevent it going there, all right? Typically what happens is people go there when they're weak, so towards the end of a run or the match, so there's more compression in the lumbar vertebrae, so our back feels sore. So yes, stretch, but we need to strengthen as well. We need to combine them both. So that's my session. Any questions on it, do let me know.